Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but inside it truly is so delightful, because who doesn't love a nice eggnog? When it's homemade, it's essentially just making a very loose custard. You can give some to the kids and grandma and grandpa, assuming that you're all potting together, and then by all means, let the kids have some without the Flor de Caña rum in it. Welcome to Instagram Live, AZ Cooks. We're so glad that you are here. Brought to you by the good folks at Flor de Caña Rum, Jalados, Mexico, and of course our friends at Shun, the knife makers to the stars. I was never an eggnog person. Didn't like it, didn't like it, didn't like it. Went to college, went to visit a friend at an Ivy League school for a football game and drank what was called milk punch, which was essentially a loose eggnog with a lot of booze in it, and just fell in love. Maybe it was the booze, I don't know. But I've been an eggnog fan ever since. The problem is I'm not a big fan of the store-bought stuff. It just, I don't know, the mouth feels terrible. It's like a lot of carrageenan and stabilizers and other things in there. And so many years ago, I decided, because my kid loved eggnog, that I was going to make a homemade version. And I tried it, and it's chuggable. And I don't recommend that. There's a lot of dairy in there. It certainly has a lot of calories. But if you make it, and to take a glass a night during the holiday time or to enjoy with friends, it's unbelievable. And there are so many cool parts to this, and it fits so well with our big giveaway from the folks at Flor de Caña USA. That is their Instagram account, Flor de Caña USA. Obviously, we will put this at the top of our Instagram post when we take this clip and place it on there. But you should know that we have a monstrous and fun giveaway, okay? So first of all, Flor de Caña rum from Nicaragua, you know, 5th generation, 130 years old, sustainable, all natural, and you know it's my preferred rum of choice to cook with. For people here in our office, since there have been bottles lying around, I've been assured as recently as 3 minutes ago that in fact it is quite delicious to drink. They're doing an incredible giveaway with us. So here's the deal. You know these fantastic rum cakes from the Tortuga people, right? Well, they make a premium rum cake that's made with Flor de Caña, okay? So here's the deal. We have a great giveaway. If you want to enter it, you have to like the post that we put up on our Instagram. You have to go to Flor de Caña USA and tag 3 friends in the comments and fill in the phrase, "My favorite Thanksgiving dish is blank, and I'm most grateful for blank," because those are really the spirit of the holidays. You know how much I love Thanksgiving, because it's a food holiday without gifts, and it's all about gratitude. So let me repeat that. It is only an Instagram contest, okay? You can go do it through us or through at Flor de Caña USA. You like the post, you follow Flor de Caña USA, tag 3 friends in the comments, and fill in those 2 phrases. My favorite Thanksgiving dish is, and I'm most grateful for. And all you have to do is go to my Instagram account or theirs, and that information will be there, so you don't need to write anything down. There's no deadline right now, so you can just take your sweet time, enjoy our IG Live together. Think of a really clever, maybe snooty or snarky question to ask me. And then later on, go to at Flor de Caña USA, or when our post goes up live, you can find the links and enter the contest. It's unbelievable. And here's the best part. 50 people, 50 are going to win a prize from Flor de Caña. And so we're super, super excited about that. Enter into this giveaway. It's going to be spectacular. And yes, rum cakes are involved. Okay, so how do you make this very simple custard? First thing that you do is you take your 2 cups of milk and your cup of cream, and you add a couple of slices of fresh ginger. Let that steep in there. A little bit of salt. A pinch of clove, because a pinch of clove goes a long way. A half teaspoon of ground nutmeg. Now, you really do need that nutmeg flavor in there, to steep in there. All of the oils in the clove and in the nutmeg are going to go into that milk as it gets heated in the cream, and we're going to give this a little gentle whisking just so it gets in there. As that warms up, clove and nutmeg are very, very potent, so we don't need a lot. We have our brown sugar. We have our white sugar. And we place those along with 6 egg yolks into our standing mixer. Thank you very much. Oh, don't go away with that. And we're going to turn this on. It's locked. I make sure that my bowl is stable. The most important thing that you do before you ever engage with your tabletop mixer, and you know how much I love my KitchenAid tabletop mixer. I've got like 4 of them. I even have one in matte black, which is really cool, all murdered out. Make sure it's locked. Make sure that your attachment is stable on there and that this is stable, because if it doesn't, one of the most frequent accidents in the kitchen, I've seen people break fingers, is something goes haywire, it's wobbly, it's not locked, the bowl is loose, the attachment is loose, and they instinctively grab for it, and it is just, it's awful. Once those things are all stable, turn it on. And we're basically, I mean, this is a common move to anyone who's baked anything, made a custard. We are going to turn our egg yolks and sugar into light ribbons, okay? Then we are going to take our heated up milk mixture, and we're going to slowly pour that in thirds to temper it. It's the easiest thing in the whole world. And then it's going to go back into this pan to cook until it thickens, and then you strain it and you're done. It's so, so, so simple. And the really nice thing about this, hide the bottle of Flor de Caña, is when the kids are around, you can do all this with them, right? Which is super, super fun. If your kids have never seen, if you're a parent, or maybe you're a friendly aunt or uncle, or you have children in your life, there is nothing more fun on a holiday evening, or even, it doesn't have to be a holiday evening, to make this dish with them. So, can you see how light and ribbony and fluffy that egg yolk sugar mixture has become? We're just going to turn that down as low as it goes, and I'm going to raise my temperature on my milk and cream, because I want that just to barely simmer, right? And we want to make sure that that bare simmer is reached, because that lets us know that we're at 210 degrees. And then we're going to pour it very safely into here. By the way, a delicious beverage to have with a little rum cake, by the way. Yes, there's already a question. Fire away, Vicky.
People are just wondering if you're wearing pants.
No, I never wear pants during my Instagram Live. Let me just tell you what actually happens. Obviously, I'm not wearing pants now. Sometimes I will go to the refrigerator or I will go to the stove, and through a miracle of technology, Vicky and Sean actually use some of those cool Instagram apps to put fake pants on me.
Have you been cooking with your spices lately?
I cook with my spices all the time. I love them. It took us a year to develop them. And I will say, where's the one? I just cooked with the French Kiss earlier today. And for those that are curious, if you look inside there, lots of freeze-dried shallots, lots of freeze-dried citrus peel, whole leaf tarragon and other herbs. And it is absolutely spectacular. I mean, I love this stuff. We're talking about it today because I love tarragon, which is why the French Kiss is tarragon heavy. And there's someone in our office who doesn't like tarragon. She shall remain nameless right now, but I just don't get it.
What has been the highlight of your week?
Highlight of my week, I actually had a couple of great days doing absolutely nothing with my kid, and I saw a movie on Netflix that I think is one of the most underrated movies of the last 2 years, because I didn't hear a lot written about it. I mean, look, with COVID, I think everyone's movie issues are different now. But if you have Netflix and you've not seen the movie Bright, B-R-I-G-H-T, with Will Smith, There is it's just, I don't want to ruin it for anyone. It's a lot of fun. And I saw it on Netflix, you know, in the recommended for you for a year and a half, and finally was like, oh, sure, let's see it. And it was spectacular. It was a big highlight. And I cooked a lot. And if you follow me on Instagram and actually look at my posts, I got to meet Carson, the singing dog, who sings only to Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska.
Do you ever put raisins in your rum cake?
I put raisins in everything.
How do you keep your cutting board so clean?
Other people do it.
Where did you get your spices?
I worked with the Badia Spice Company, and it took about a year of going back and forth because I was very persnickety about the grade of spices that were used. Badia is a phenomenal spice company, and I wanted certain things to be whole leaf. I wanted certain things to be a certain grade, and they helped me search and scour the market and came up with the blends, and they would send us ingredients, and Madeline and I, another colleague here in the office, just spent a lot of time doing it. JP and myself and Dusty and Madeline just all tasting and testing and tasting and testing and came up with these, and I think they're spectacular. Available at Walmart, at ShopRite, or at BadiaSpices.com.
Do you like Indian food?
I love it. It's spectacular. It's why I came up with a hot curry. I like hot curries. Shameless plug, the good folks at Burlap and Barrel also have a limited edition series of my my buddy, the late Floyd Cardos, an amazing chef. They have some of his masalas on their website in a gift pack for the holidays.
Is there food that you've never tried that it's on your list?
Food that I've never tried that's on my list. Yes and no. I've been, there's 195 countries, I think, now around the globe, something like that. I was having this discussion with Sam Vinograd the other day at a University of Delaware demo that I did, and she's national security analyst in the Obama administration, a lot of things, the writer of the presidential daily briefs for several years for Obama, and now works for CNN. And I said to her, how many countries are there? And she informed me there's 193 countries represented at the UN, but there are some non-aligned nations and other countries that are not at the UN. So anyway, roughly 195 countries in the world. I've set foot, and by the way, this is more than an airport transfer. I don't count airport transfers. I've set foot in at last count 170 of them. But there are places I've never been. I've never been to the Czech Republic. If I go to Uruguay, I cross all of South America off my list. So there are things that are traditional in those countries that I've had a version of it cooked elsewhere, but never had like real caraway and orange glazed Bohemian duck in a restaurant specializing in that in Prague, right? I mean, that's what I want to eat there. I've had 100 versions of it. I make one myself, but there's a good example.
Can you give a quick recap of the ingredients that you put into the mix?
Sure. I have nutmeg. I have clove. I have ginger, milk, and cream steeping here. And I can see that I'm almost at a simmer, so I'm going to increase the heat. And I have brown sugar, white sugar, and egg yolks in here. And this is about to simmer, and we're about to temper them and get on with the business of the homemade eggnog. I hesitate to even call it eggnog, because eggnog to so many people has a bad reputation. This is better than nog. Let's call it that. BTN, better than nog. All right. So while this is running, I am going to take my mixture and I'm going to pour it in thirds really slowly. So that it tempers properly. See, I cleaned up my board myself. I do it sometimes. I clean up my cutting board at my house because there's no one else there to do it for me. Another third. You can add the second and third thirds a little more swiftly. It's the first third that you got to pour slowly so you don't make scrambled eggs. But it's really very safe. And then unlock it. Ugh. Yes, I know. The one thing I haven't figured out to do is how to get my stovetop to stop talking to me. All right, so that goes in there. This goes away.
Andrew, is that a turkey in the background?
Yes, it's a turkey in the background. We are, as you can imagine, with most chefs these days, this is a very, very busy time of year. Doing tons of demos. We're doing TV commercials. We're doing, posts for charities and nonprofits. So we were doing something earlier, very, very exciting, that we can announce next week, that we're a part of. Why am I lying to you? We're doing a big food-a-thon for City Harvest. I'm doing something on the Today Show on Thanksgiving morning that we're taping. So there's lots of stuff with little hacks and tips. And we're roasting a lot of turkeys. This is the first of what I believe will be like 8 that we're going to roast over the next couple of weeks. And we're going to do a lot of different versions as well. So once this goes in, right, it was pretty darn hot before, right? And then it cooled off because it went into the cold mixer bowl with room temperature egg yolks and sugar. And now what's happening is we want to put it on that same low setting that eventually brought it to a simmer. And those egg yolks are going to liaise the liquid. They're going to thicken it. The French culinary term is liaise, which I love to use because you very rarely get to use that word in real life. Like I was at a nightclub and liaised with, you don't get to use that because it's COVID and we're not going to nightclubs. Don't go to nightclubs. Wear your mask. Keep apart. Yes, next question, because we're going to wait. This is going to take a couple minutes to thicken, and then we strain it, cool it, and drink it. Boom.
If you have to get a tattoo right now, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, that is such an easy question. I would get, who asked that?
Me.
Really? I would get the words Saint Vicky tattooed across, probably like a neck tattoo, right across there. No, I have a tattoo. When I got it, I did not plan on it. I wasn't drunk either. I was in Thailand. It was during a TV show taping for Driven by Food. And a very famous monk who does tattoos did a Sankyat tattoo on my back. He just told me to take off my shirt. We were just talking. I was like freaked out because I'm Jewish and I've just been brought up like, don't get tattoos. You can't get buried in a grave. I'm like all this like stuff in my ear that just prevented me from doing it. And when I was drinking and doing drugs, tattoos weren't a big thing. So consequently, I really, really, really was confused about the tattoo issue. And Arjun Pai, this monk and teacher in Thailand, gave me this tattoo. And it's in the back, it's the 7 pillars of Buddhism, and there's a Sanskrit incantation that he chants for an hour. Blood is streaming down your back. Giant needle, he makes his own ink. But now that I've had it for a while, I want to get something around it. There's a couple Japanese tattoo artists that I really admire who all are working in Japan right now. And so as soon as COVID is over, that is a trip I am definitely making. And I'm going to get some traditional 19th century style Japanese stuff underneath it, kind of holding up the 7 pillars of Buddhism. And then, of course, I'm going to get Saint Vicky on my neck, and then I'm going to get the King of Hearts, the Queen of Hearts, the Jack of Hearts, the 10 of Hearts in between these fingers, and then the Ace of Hearts right on the thumb. It's a cool idea. I just thought of that.
I want to ask about your favorite breed for dogs, dog breed.
My favorite dog breed? Well, I had a Vizsla. I've had Shih Tzus, sheepdogs, golden retrievers, and for the last 14 years, Mr. Pretzel Zimmern, the world's greatest pug, who went out sword in hand on his shield during this summer. He finally left us, and I'm just now starting to think about the next dog.
Do you cook your turkey whole or in parts?
It depends on what I'm doing. We have a great recipe on our website. By the way, speaking of Thanksgiving, while this is thickening, we have so many, we've been doing the Thanksgiving thing for years on our website. So there's actually like a 4-day guide, like what to buy, side dishes, desserts. We have you covered 1000% for Thanksgiving. Go check it out. We have a Thanksgiving turkey dish, kind of an alternative recipe where you take the turkey apart, use the back and the wings and all that stuff to make a broth, and then you brown and braise the rest of the parts in red wine, kind of like coq au vin, but with turkey. And it is delicious. It's a great alternative. And if you're one of those families that does 2 birds, you can do it. And the best thing of all, you can cook it all the day before. When I grill turkey, I do 2 breasts and 2 dark quarters, and I brine them and grill them. So there I'm doing parts. When I fry turkey, I never, and please don't fry your turkey whole. It's so dangerous. And by the time the inside is cooked, the outside is burnt. But if you cut your legs and thighs apart and cut your breasts apart into 2 halves and then those halves into halves, so essentially you have 8 pieces. You can do the buttermilk and flour thing and fry your turkey pieces, and it's awesome.
I'm making chicken pot pie tonight for the first time. Any advice?
Whose recipe? Mine's bulletproof. It's at andrewzimmern.com. I just made chicken pot pie the week before last because it finally started to get cold here, and I forgot how much I loved it. And you don't need to worry about anything. I would say there are a lot of really good crusts out there that are store-bought, but if you make your own, it's worth it for savory pies. It's foolproof. You make a roux, you add your milk, your vegetables, your cooked chicken, your peas, your seasonings, boom, put it into a pan and cover it with pastry and bake it. You really can't go wrong.
What's your favorite type of vacation?
My favorite type of vacation? One where I do some real adventuring and where I learn a lot. It also depends with whom.
Someone says,
Sean, scale of 1 to 10, was that smile mischievous enough? I was trying to make a mischievous smile. Is it a vacation with my 15-year-old son? Is it a getaway weekend where I'm alone and I'm just going to sit on a beach and read a stack of books and get some sleep? Or am I going with somebody?
What is the weirdest turkey thing you've done? I saw chicken, duck, goose, octopus, crab. What?
Weirdest turkey thing that I've done?
Yes.
I have a great story about that. Hold on one second. A friend of mine, this has just come together, and I don't want to scramble my eggs, so we're going to turn that off. We're going to strain this, because remember we have those chunks of ginger in there. So we take that. Spread our towel down. Ice bath. Bowl. If you want to chill this and enjoy it right away, it's that easy. And then all you do is whisk. Because right now, I have boiling liquid on simmering liquid on the inside and stainless steel and ice on the outside. And it just takes about, 4 or 5 minutes of stirring for this to drop from 211 degrees to 35 degrees. Literally, it's all you got to do is just let that sit in there, stir it every once in a while. So what was the last question? It was important. I felt it was important. Oh, yes, strangest thing for Thanksgiving. So a friend of mine told me that this happened to them, so I then recreated it at my family Thanksgiving. I do 2 birds. One stuffed, and then I did one unstuffed. And inside of it, I put 8 little baby roasted quails attached by string. And when all the little kids in the family, nieces, nephews, my son, all gathered around, friends, neighbors, I did what my friend Tommy told me he had done with his family. And I did the stuffing, I was carving, and I was just, do you guys hear that? And I reached inside the unstuffed bird and pulled out this string, and out came 4 or 5 little roasted baby quails. And it's like the funniest thing in the whole world, right? Get it? It's the turkey and it's roasted. But apparently all the kids cried and got really scared, and all the other parents in the room yelled at me. I thought I was hysterical. It turns out, don't ever do that. But that was the strangest thing I've ever done. When it comes to food items, and I think your question was like along the lines of a turducken, right? Which is a chicken inside a duck, inside a turkey, and the whole thing is stuffed with typically a cornbread and sausage stuffing and roasted, all boneless. Wait 1 second. My friend Ariane, who owns D'Artagnan, which is a meat company based out of the East Coast, gives me really fun Christmas gifts. She's an old friend. And she gave me this cutting board plaque that's engraved with the D'Artagnan logo and an actual recipe for something called Ven Borfalo. Serves 800 to 1,000. And basically, it's a deer stuffed inside a wild boar, stuffed inside a whole young buffalo. You need 632 medium onions and 4 5-gallon buckets of duck fat to make the whole thing work. But it's fantastic. And my favorite part of the whole thing is that it has 12 bottles of Armagnac, which she loves, but salt and piment d'Espelette to taste. And this is one of my most treasured possessions. It was a one-of-a-kind thing, and just a lot of love in that. So it's the Ven Borfalo. We're whisking in the ice. Eggnog is what we're going to make. You can, of course, mix it with the flor de caña. But the last thing that we need to do is season our eggnog with a little bit of vanilla. So you can use Tahitian vanilla. This brand actually is extracted into cane rum. But you know, from a couple weeks ago, we made our own. And this is the first time we've used this batch. And it is, I mean, we haven't popped it. I told everyone you let it sit 2-3 weeks. We made this, I think, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. It is so potently vanilla-ish. And we did this with flor de caña. So you just add a little bit of vanilla extract, homemade, a great gift for the holidays. Every time I put it away or take it out, I shake it so those seeds, those vanilla seeds, can you see that in the light?
Yes.
Are in there, and it just keeps infusing and infusing. And by the way, flor de caña is 40% alcohol or 80 proof, and vanilla extract is like 37% alcohol or 75 proof. So you're not monkeying around with any sort of alcohol issue in the recipe. If you are an alcohol-free person, by all means use a vanilla extract that is artificial or doesn't have alcohol in it if that is your desire. This is now, because we're whisking in a metal bowl in ice. Oh yeah. That is nice and cold. All right. Set this on our board. And you can put it in a nice attractive picture. I, by the way, have taken a plate with cinnamon sugar and pie spices, right? Ground ginger and nutmeg and clove along there. So it's kind of like the opposite of salting with a margarita. All right, let's just do it by hand. I recommend putting this in a pitcher because you want to make it nice and clean. But there you go. That is our fantastic homemade pinch of cinnamon, so you get that aroma up top. It's got our vanilla in it, and trust me, if you are, I don't drink anymore, but if you were coming to my house, I would put this out and I would say, tell me when to stop. And then I would take a nice slice of Tortuga rum cake and perch that up there for you and invite you to have a little bit of rum cake made with Flor de Caña along with our eggnog. Here's the deal. Flor de Caña, 5th generation, 130 years old, all natural rum, sustainable. I mean, you can read more about it on their website. Follow them at Flor de Caña USA. That's at Flor de Caña USA on Instagram. Information there about the big giveaway. Answer a couple questions, like the post, right? Follow them, say nice things about us, enter to win the giveaway, answer a question about Thanksgiving, about what you're grateful for, and you could win a really, really, really special rum cake made with their rum, This recipe is on our website. All the Thanksgiving recipes are on the website, including this delicious turkey, plus all the things you need to know about Thanksgiving. Now, I will tell you what makes Thanksgiving unusual this year, and we're spending a lot of time talking about this with a lot of our partners. The COVID-19 pandemic is just raging in our state, in nearby states. We have record number of deaths, record number of new cases every day, and everybody is telling people to shut it down and please not to gather for Thanksgiving. My family is not gathering for Thanksgiving this year. And because of that, we have to take recipes that are designed for 20 people, supersized, and bring them down. Please go to our web. We have tons of recipes that are easily halved or quartered. And most importantly, you can buy a small turkey. That's one that was 12 pounds, right? And so if there's just 2 or 3 of you in your immediate family, or, mom, dad, 2 kids, whatever or it's just you and your loved one, your special person, whoever you're potting with, you can do that and make lots of leftovers. We have recipes. You can eat off that all week long and make soup and put that in your freezer. So just because there's 2 of you or 3 of you or 4 of you doesn't mean you can't roast a whole turkey. But if you don't want to, we have a recipe for a boneless stuffed turkey breast that's absolutely out of control. It's so good, and that's probably what I'm gonna make, because I love turkey and stuffing, but I'm probably, after making 12 of those between now and the big day, I'm probably gonna want something different. You can also confit your turkey legs, just cut them off and confit them, the same way that you do the duck on our website or the pheasant on our website, and roast the breast whole and just slice that if you're just a couple of people. Lots and lots and lots of solutions. Please, you can send us questions on our website. There's a place to ask questions. It goes to our info box. I know a lot of you have questions about the things that are going to be different about this Thanksgiving. It's going to be different for everybody. Just know that I'm grateful for all of you, and I really do mean it when I say I have nothing but love and goodwill for all of you and your families as we enter a time of year that's extremely tough for folks. I mentioned in an interview today that this is the first Thanksgiving that we've had in our country where people are going to be gathering, even in very, very small groups, knowing that they've lost someone they've loved. Almost 250,000 Americans have passed now. And I think I have that right. So many families have lost somebody. I've spoken to 3 friends just today whose grandparent or parent is hospitalized with C-19. This is something that we all need to get past, and we all need to be grateful for what we have and remember and cherish the memories of those who are no longer with us. Don't want to be a downer, and if that's too depressing for you, put an extra glug of the Flor de Caña 10-year-old into your eggnog. The nog itself, once you taste how different this is from the store-bought kind, you will thank me forever. It lasts for 3 days easy in your fridge. Just don't leave the pitcher out at room temperature for too long. Just keep it in the fridge and just pour out of it. This is a very large portion of eggnog. I usually serve them in smaller glasses, but they don't look as good on the video. So I don't know, this is probably a little over a cup, and I probably give more like 5 or 6 ounces. So about 2/3 that size. We have time for another question or two.
Someone asked earlier, what's your ultimate favorite soup?
Oh my gosh, my ultimate favorite soup, probably some kind of mussel, oyster, clam, chowdery thing. I mean, maybe like a Billy Bee, which is a Belgian curried mussel chowder. I just love seafood soups, but as I'm saying that, I'm like, well, what about good old grandma's chicken noodle? I mean, isn't that the greatest soup of all time? Wait, beef barley. Wait, roasted tomato. Wait, I mean, who knows? That's a tough question.
Do you put mayo on your leftover turkey sandwiches?
My leftover turkey sandwiches get Russian dressing and coleslaw. Then later on that day, when I have my second turkey sandwich, I do cold stuffing, cold gravy, and cold cranberry sauce on toast. Then I do a hot open-faced turkey sandwich with stuffing, plain white bread, and gravy. And then my fourth sandwich of the day is usually like a hot Monte Cristo type thing with melted cheese and more like a hot brown sandwich. If you don't know what a hot brown is, please, no snarky comments. If you don't know what a hot brown is, look it up. We've profiled them on many of my shows. It is a hot turkey sandwich from Brown's Hotel, and you really, simple. Look it up. It's delicious. Great way to use leftovers.
Have you ever had a Big Mac?
Of course I've had a Big Mac, but I've eaten at McDonald's like 3 times in the last 10 years. And often because we roll into town and it's the only place that's open and we're starving. I'm not a big fast food guy, but there are places that I like to get fast food at. Where do you all stand on Cane's fried chicken tenders? Where do you stand on Culver's Butterburger? Where do you stand on Shake Shack? All 3 of those are companies that do it differently. They don't bring frozen foods in. They cut fresh foods. Shake Shack has a real commitment to local and organic. I mean, those to me are some of the many companies that are doing fast food right. Fast food isn't bad. It's what type of fast food is it?
What is a common food you can't stand? Mine is pork tenderloin.
Yeah, kind of mushy. It's not the most flavorful of pork cuts. I feel you. I mean, really the only thing that hot oatmeal, raw cookie dough. I've even found walnuts that I like. Durian. I've found preparations for durian that I like, mostly in sambals and fermented durian products. It kind of sounds weird, but once it ferments, the flavor of the durian changes. Yeah, raw cookie dough and hot oatmeal. Ugh.
Have you ever thrown spaghetti against the wall to test for doneness?
Absolutely not. Why are you throwing food against the wall? What a gimmick. Oh my God, don't do that. Just take some out and bite it. When it's the texture you like, drain it and sauce it and eat it. I mean, how simple can it be? Why do you need to throw it against the wall? Taste it.
What's your favorite ground meat combination? Mine is ground turkey and hot pork sausage.
Oh my God. I like, we're right above the Iowa border here in the Twin Cities. So a made right loose meat sandwich is great. A gizmo is great. Homemade sloppy joes are great. Picadillo is great. I love things with ground meat. I don't need to get too gimmicky with that stuff. One last question. No one wants to talk politics? That was a joke.
Someone asked what you were doing while Biden was named.
I was flying. I was on an airplane, believe it or not, and I thought it was just fantastic news. And what defines our democracy since Washington was the beginning. Our country's history has been tumultuous, but it's really the Jefferson-Adams handoff that is the first handoff, right? And ever since then, the transition of power, while not documented or mandated in the a safe transition of power, an acknowledged one, that transition is not documented in the Constitution. It is just the best practice and keeps us safe. I am worried. I would love to see the president concede. Hillary Clinton conceded to him within 24 hours. You know, look at the last 8 presidents who've lost. Every single one of them is conceded quickly because they know that our country is in danger when that doesn't happen. Our adversaries wait for a moment, because there's only one president at a time, when we're sort of in this moment of instability. And so we really do need our current president to concede. If he wants to run again in 2024, that is his right, and I endorse that 1,000%. We can all disagree about policy and politicians, but from a civic and national safety standpoint, we should all be aligned. I want every one of us, regardless of who you voted for, to be safe. And our adversaries right now are very happy to see our country slightly destabilized. It cannot be further destabilized. So I'm really, really into the idea of our democratic republic moving forward regardless of who wins. I was not happy personally at the turnout of the 2016 election, but I was thrilled that Secretary Clinton made her concession speech, and said, I want to do everything to make sure President-elect Trump has the best outcomes possible. That's what outgoing President Obama said after handing over the keys to the car to then President-elect Trump prior to the inauguration. That's just how we do it. It's what we teach our kids, right? If you lose, shake hands, and if, you know, and have another go at it the next time. And I think that we need to do that in politics as well. I love you all. Have a great weekend. Please remember, go to @FloridaKanya register there. Huge contest. Make the eggnog. Join us here next week when we're doing another fantastic Instagram live with some really cool recipes, more of your questions, and we're going to start bringing in special guests, more people with no pants, longer beards, more innuendos, and well, we had plenty of laughter today.